We have a treat for you today. We're in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and you're going to see what 18 years of passion does when you are gardeners. We're at the home of John Flannery and Kelly Hilton, and I want to ask you about your gardening experience. You've been a gardener, obviously, and you are a gardener as well now.
Yes.
By default.
Most definitely.
And you have a beautiful display behind us of layering and stuff. Tell me a little bit about your background, John.
Yeah, started doing landscaping when I quit college 40 years ago, and loved it ever since.
So you learned all the rules, all the ins and outs.
Yep. We like a lot of color, texture, flowers, yard art, and we try to do it in a tasteful manner. And our gardens are spread out so much that it's spaced around so it doesn't look tacky. We like a lot of unusual stuff, anything with color, texture. We stop at every garden center we see. I have a passion for it.
I want to talk about the plantings behind us.
Okay.
Can we talk about the French hollyhocks or the mallow?
We try to use more perennials now than we did in the past. We used to put a lot of annuals out, but now we've done more with the perennials just because we're getting older and it's a lot of work. So,
and that's a biennial, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because it is a member of the hollyhock family.
Yeah.
And then the white dwarf spider flower there, the cleome.
Yep, it always does well here. It gets so large and just blooms continuously all summer, loves our heat.
I think it's a great alternative to the tall ones that get leggy and droop and stuff.
Yep.
And tell me about your other plantings here, how you went about layering and things.
We started at the house, and then we lost some hollies a couple of years ago in that freeze, so we had to start over on that side. But we just like color and texture, so we just continuously layer. If we add something else out here, we just extend the beds out further.
And your conifers and your shrubbery is gorgeous. And you have some roses and lots of art. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some of the material we dug up, we used to do some landscaping on the side, and like the drift rose there. Customer hated the color. It was done by a previous landscaper, and she said, get it out.
Okay.
So we brought it home and rescued it.
And tell me about the ginkgo. I love it. Although they're kind of a pain, the way they drop their leaves a lot in the fall.
Right.
But because they are deciduous.
Yes.
Then what's below it here?
It's a spring grove ginkgo, and it's supposed to top out at 8 foot, but it likes that spot apparently, and it's getting larger than at 8 foot already.
Do you trim it in the fall then?
We don't.
You don't?
We haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't touched it. We put it in about 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yes.
And I love the coleus, the colors of them. They're really almost like a firecracker.
Yeah. I think it's called apple brandy, I believe.
Oh.
And that particular variety there doesn't flower. Like some of them have to keep the flower
right,
pinched
you
off.
have to keep it deadheaded.
Yeah, that one doesn't.
And I like how it's compact, but it's bushy.
Yes.
Tell me about this tree. I love it.
It's called the Ruby Falls redbud. Blooms just like the regular redbuds do in the early spring, and then turns this beautiful burgundy color, weeping effect.
Because it has a weeping, branching nature, did the buds come on that as well, or just on the main stalk? That must be gorgeous in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's only 2 years old?
2 years old.
2 years old.
Got it in Greenville, Kentucky. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you.
I especially like the heart-shaped leaves and the weeping habit of this one, and it doesn't look too big for this spot. It's perfect. I noticed you have quite a few pots in your gardens.
Yes, ma'am.
But I love these large ones, and the combination here is quite unique. Tell me about that.
Thank you. We do like a lot of containers in the beds, and we put in annuals each year and try to get some unusual stuff in it. This is a tropical canna. It blooms a light orange, so I paired it with the chocolate orange begonia.
Gorgeous.
Bring it out.
Now, obviously that's an annual, but do you leave the cannas right in here?
Well, it might come back, but I doubt it.
So you dig them up?
Yeah, we try to dig them up. We save some things sometimes, but a lot of times we don't. We just
do
start over.
Do you use drip irrigation on your pots and containers, or you hand water?
We hand water everything.
Wow, you two are ambitious. Yeah. I want to know about this little greenhouse, or this little pretty shed, as I call them.
We've been wanting to do it for years. Collected some windows off Marketplace and antique stores, and finally got it up this year. And I wanted some colored stained glass in places, so bought that, cut it into size, and it's going to be decorative spot in the garden. And
your moss chandelier, or candelabra, I guess you'd call it in there.
Saw that at a garden tour we went on a couple of years ago, and a lady had done that, so copied it.
And you've incorporated your family heirlooms into your garden as well. We've talked about your urns here that were your grandma's.
That was my grandmother's, yes.
And you've kind of mimicked the colors throughout your garden. That's what I love. It's like a continuation, like in your home. And then behind me, you have all different kinds of little vignettes and quiet little spots, tranquil spots, water features.
Yes.
And you have a fairy house.
Yes.
Tell me how you came about this. Like, did you start with one section and go to a different one and say, hey, let's put something here this year? Or did it gradually snowball,
it gradually snowballs, yes. We had to have a black walnut taken down, so I asked him to cut the trunk to look like that. And then we just continuously add the beds from there, find new plants, things from antique stores like the birdhouse, and we plant in it.
I like antiques and collectibles also, and I absolutely love this bird cage. The bright red flowers and the trailing chartreuse, which are two of my favorite colors. You know, I might have to copy that. Again, how you've combined your shade plants with some of your sun, so you know where the sun comes through your trees, obviously, which is important to note. And then you have lots of ferns, and again, you must like pinks and peaches and yellows.
We like a lot of color, and we'll try stuff, even some of these things that typically is full sun plants, like the treeform limelight there. It blooms fine all summer long and does great.
It's got a little hole of sunshine there.
Yep.
Tell me about your little waterfall going on here.
Dug it a couple of years ago, and we've added a lot of shade perennials, and we don't have any annuals around it this year. It's all perennials.
And it's a pondless water feature. That's important to note. And then I noticed quite a bit of shade plantings here. We've got a fern there.
Japanese painted ferns, some brunaria, some heuchera, Solomon seal.
Solomon seal's right over here by the steps. I love that. I don't know why. I guess it's appealing because it's taller and the variegation is good.
I love the variegation on it.
Yeah.
And it does so well here. I've dug up, I started some on the property line over there, and now I've dug up and moved it in several places.
The heuchera just kind of sparkles in that setting. What I like about it, it does great in full shade, and you know, it even does good in partial shade. Yeah, and you can't beat the foliage. I love your color combinations, not only with the ferns and your shade-loving plants. Again, you've repeated your annuals with the color in here for pops of color. Tell me about that.
We like to use a lot of color, and on the perennials, especially the texture of the ferns, the lighter green, darker greens, the hostas as well. Throw in some larapi here and there. The secretia, the purple there, it comes back.
Explain what you mean about texture for our viewers.
Just the delicate.
Some are spiky, some are leafy, some are tall, some are short.
Yep, exactly.
Draws your eye through the garden.
Exactly, yep.
I love your hardscape. Who does all the grunt work of you two, both of you?
We have. When we initially put this patio in the wall, I did have some help with that, but the rest of the stuff we've done ourselves.
And I love how you've tiered it up. You have actually almost 4 tiers, really, if you count the very bottom. It pulls your eye up and looks at your beautiful plantings up there. That wall up there was just this year or last year?
Last year.
Last year. This wasn't enough, you just had to do one more?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We, of course, there's no level piece of area on this property, so we use it to our advantage, the slope.
What kind of echinacea is that in back? I just noticed it, that beautiful red color.
I think it's called Raspberry Rush.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Does that come back okay from you?
Well, it just planted this
year.
year.
Okay, because I know some of them hybrids are kind of finicky.
We'll see.
Oh my goodness, that pot is massive. And you said it's plastic?
It's plastic.
Well, that makes it easier, doesn't it? That's gorgeous. And tell me about the trees here and your shrubbery. I see some Japanese maple, or several.
We have several Japanese maples. A full moon Japanese maple behind the pot. The choke cherry that the pot's sitting on, we had to have taken down to get struck by lightning. So we used it to our advantage with that large pot.
That was a big tree.
Yes.
And then the weeping.
That's a Golden Falls redbud.
Okay.
That's just put in this year.
It flowers the same way as the other one we saw?
I assume it does. We just planted it a month ago, I think.
Those are gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. And you have some annuals in here as well as perennials.
Yep.
And do you mulch this twice a year or once a year?
Just once.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did have to have somebody help us mulch this time.
Yeah.
We've been so busy with both our works.
You call this your hosta garden?
We did. This was one of the first beds we did several years back, and then we've added to it. We had a mold problem one year, lost quite a few hostas, and then we started adding some other shade
And
plants.
what else do you have in here besides hostas?
We've got the mahonia, some heuchera, brunera, some acuba, and stuff that will take the shade, like the arborvitae over there and the green yew. And then we've added the metal art throughout the bed.
Yeah, I love the balls hanging from the trees because it draws our eye up as well. This is definitely a garden spot to linger in. There's plenty to see, plenty to enjoy, but you know, nothing is overdone. Everything here, the plants, you know, the path, the garden art, they're all working in harmony. And these plants are performing great for you too. Well done, guys. I can't believe the overall feel I'm getting. It's warm vibe, it's serenity, it's everything wrapped up in one. You guys have did such a wonderful job. It's very apparent to everybody that you love this.
Thank you.
It's a passion for sure.
Thank you.
And I want to tell you both thank you, John and Kelly. Thank you so much for letting our viewers share your wonderful gardens.
You're welcome.
For coming.
Yeah, we enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
We love sharing it with people.
Thank you. If you like gardening, you'll want to subscribe to this channel. We showcase gardeners, plants, and the joy that growing can bring.